Every all-time great NBA player has their fair share of doubters, whether it be fans, media members, commentators, or even other players. Having doubters, having haters, it comes to territory of being an NBA superstar. But when looking at current day players, I would argue Steph Curry is one of, if not the most, disrespected superstars of the 21st century. So with that being the case, in today's video, we're going to hop in the time machine and look at the worst Steph Curry takes that have aged like milk. And first up, we have Max Kellerman from ESPN.
At number 4, I like the list, I like the reveal of the name, Steph Curry. Well, Steph Curry is not exactly a point guard. He is a point guard, but Draymond Green runs that offense as much as Steph does. Steph is an undersized 2 who plays the 1 putatively and is great. The ball doesn't stick with him. He shoots the lights out and everything. But in terms of a pure point guard, it's not exactly what he does. Still, he is on the list.
Max Kellerman over the years, he's had his fair share of bad takes regarding Tom Brady, Kobe, and of course Andre Iguodala. But this one right here is an absolute gem that went way under the radar. As saying Steph Curry in 2022 is the 4th best point guard, not player, but point guard, is a god-awful take. And his reasoning as to why this is so weak and pathetic. With Max Kellerman's logic of being a traditional point guard, Steph Curry at no point was the best point guard in the NBA. And if you go down this line of thinking, which is stupid, someone like Steve Nash, Jason Kidd, John Stockton, those guys, by Max standards, are better than Steph Curry. And of course, you guys know, that's absolutely ridiculous. And looking at the rest of Max's list, at number 1, he has LeBron James, number 2, Ja Morant, number 3, Luka, and of course number 4, Steph Curry. Now once again, think about Max's logic of being a traditional point guard. Those 3 guys ahead of Steph Curry are by no means traditional point guards. As LeBron James, he's more of a point forward, he can average 30 points a game or give you 10 assists. And someone like Ja Morant, he's an athletic freak, but by no means a traditional point guard. And looking at Luka, he's more in the vein of a James Harden, a great passer, but also a great scorer. Max Kellerman's own logic for putting Steph number 4 falls apart when you look at the top 3, as LeBron James, Ja Morant, and Luka are not traditional point guards.
Mr. Kellerman.
Yes.
I respect you.
Yes.
I do not respect this list whatsoever.
How is he not the point guard?
First of all, you've got the rankings wrong, you've got the position wrong, and you don't have Kyrie Irving on there.
Well, that was the tough one.
You're making things up.
That was
making things up. Steph Curry should not be number 4. Just because he didn't play last week doesn't mean he's not.
You think he's better than Luka or Ja?
Would you rather have Ja Morant or Steph Curry in a playoff series?
Ja in a second.
No chance.
Steph
No
Curry
chance.
has consistently in his career been a lesser version of himself in the finals.
And just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, Max Kellerman, he doubles and triples down on this take. And look, I'm a big fan of Ja Morant, he's a great young player, but Steph Curry at this point has more championships than Ja has seasons in the NBA. And the head-scratching quote from that video is saying Steph Curry in the finals is a quote-unquote lesser version of himself. Of course, you guys know that is false, but once again, looking at Ja and Luka, those guys not once have made the NBA Finals. And at this point in Steph's career, the overall notion he's not a great finals performer is getting very tiring. Looking at this year in the finals, he averaged 31.2 points per game, 2019 30.5, 2018 27.5, 2017 26.8, and 2015 26 points per game. The only bad moment Steph had in the finals was of course in 2016. But besides that, he's been fantastic and all-time great. And one thing I do find pretty funny looking at Ja Morant, for his overall playoff resume, he averages 27.1 points per game. When Max sees that, he goes absolutely crazy. But when looking at Steph Curry in the NBA Finals, he averages 27.3 points per game, and to Max Kellerman, that's bad and underperforming. Once again showing Max he's obviously biased, and holding Steph Curry to a much, much higher standard. And looking past Max Kellerman and his awful takes, next up we have Jay Williams.
I just think it is what it is about Steph.
What does that mean?
I don't think Steph is on the level of a LeBron James, of a Kevin Durant, of a Kawhi Leonard. I think he is one hell of a player. That's not to diminish anything he's been able to accomplish. I don't think his skill set is enough to carry a team by himself the way we saw some of these other individuals do so.
So, stopping Jay right there, he said Steph Curry isn't on the level of LeBron James, Kevin Durant, or Kawhi Leonard, due to his skill set not being able to carry a team to a championship. Now think about those four players: LeBron, KD, Kawhi, and Steph Curry. LeBron and Kawhi right there are the only two players who carry their teams to a championship. My question for Jay Williams: what team ever has Kevin Durant carried in a meaningful playoff run, let alone a championship? Because right now in 2022, it's fairly obvious, Kevin Durant, he needed Steph Curry, not the other way around. As Steph without Kevin Durant has 2 championships, 2 MVPs, 1 Finals MVP, multiple 60-win seasons, as well as deep playoff runs. KD minus Steph has 1 Finals appearance, a blown 3-1 lead, and getting swept by the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, I think he's been the biggest foundational piece for that organization and that franchise for some time. But the closers for that organization has been Kevin Durant and obviously Klay Thompson. He's been the guy.
Even Andre Iguodala before Steph Curry.
Yeah,
right?
you know, Finals MVP once upon a time also, but Klay's been the closer for this organization.
So, for the 1000th time, let's kill the narrative that Steph Curry isn't a good closer and that guy for the Golden State Warriors. And the one thing I will do, unlike those two, is bring facts as of overall data. Looking at fourth quarter scoring in the NBA Finals in 2015, Steph in that series averaged 10.8 points per game. In NBA history, that's top 5, and for this series, it was first, outscoring LeBron James. In 2016, he averaged 5.4, that was second for the series, and first in the Warriors. In 2018, once again, he averaged 10.8, which is the most in the series, more than KD, more LeBron, as well as Klay. And in 2019, 5.7, which is first on Golden State and second in the series. And this year in 2022 versus Boston, he averaged 6.6, which once again was first for the series. Now, looking at those fourth quarter numbers right there, would you say Steph Curry doesn't show up in the big time moments? As very clearly, when it comes to fourth quarter scoring, he's outplayed Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Klay Thompson, Andre Iguodala, Jason Tatum, as well as Jaylen Brown. And looking at 2017 and 2018, when they went back-to-back, KD in those series was admittedly fantastic. But the one thing I would argue, his numbers in those series was kind of inflated due to the Cavs' game plan to shut down Steph. As like most NBA fans, Ty Lue, he understood Steph Curry was the engine for Golden State. If they stopped him, they stopped the offense. And looking at our next ESPN host with a terrible Steph Curry take, we have Bomani Jones.
And he's got like sick handle and all of that stuff. There's something different. It's hard to explain what it is with Steph, but Steph is somehow like the greatest system player of all time. And I'm not saying that to shade him, but you are not going 1-4 flat.
No, that's the
and
thing.
being like, get us a bucket.
That's the thing. The thing is, even Little and Kyrie are different in a way that you can tell them, go get me a bucket in a way that doesn't involve, and this is not a shade to Steph Curry when I say this, trickeration.
Yes.
Like everything with Steph sets up off of the shot, off of the threat of him beating you off from 35 feet.
Now, listening to that clip, it was obviously word salad, and it sounded like two guys who don't understand basketball trying to sound smart to each other. And the one thing I do want to focus on is the overall skill argument involving Kyrie versus Steph Curry. As very clearly Steph Curry is highly skilled and undoubtedly better than Kyrie. My point being, does having more skill really matter if you're not a better player? Yes, Kyrie has flashy handles, good moves, he spins, he does fantastic stuff. But compared to Steph Curry, his flashy moves don't get him close to being a better basketball player. And if you want cold hard data as to why Steph is clearly better, in the playoffs in the last 5 years, he averages more points, more assists, more rebounds, shoots better from the field, better from 3, has more 40-point games, 30-point games, and unlike Kyrie, can make it past the second round in the NBA playoffs. And one fascinating thing I did find, looking at both Steph and Kyrie over the past 5 years, is their ISO stats when it comes to the playoffs. Kyrie in total has 64 points on 41% shooting, compared to Steph was 129 on 52.2%. So apparently Steph Curry, the guy who can't run a 1-4 flat, is a better ISO scorer than Kyrie when it comes to the NBA playoffs, where it matters most. And the last thing I do want to talk about is Bomani Jones saying Steph Curry is a system player. One thing I've heard for at least 5 years from various NBA fans. And whenever I hear this, the one thing I say is that Steph Curry isn't a system player, but he is the system in and of himself, as the Golden State offense doesn't run without Steph Curry, and the dynasty doesn't exist without this one man. Now, looking at our last ESPN analyst, next up, we have Old Reliable, that being Kendrick Perkins, talking about Steph Curry versus James Harden, and who is the better overall player.
And I'm looking at all around and the all around player, the skill set, and who brings more to the table. It's James Harden. And it's not, to me, it's
So
apples
Harden and
oranges,
Steph are both
and it's not
available.
even.
You're taking Harden to start your team.
It's proven. When James Harden left Oklahoma City, by the way, he won 6th Man of the Year playing with Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant. And as soon as he stepped foot into the Rockets franchise, he made that franchise relevant again, Max. And I'm not discrediting Steph.
James
Steph
Harden is a great
Hall
player.
of Famer.
So watching that clip right there brings back dark days of NBA fans debating Steph Curry versus James Harden. It was never a debate, but some fans had the conversation. And looking to modern day times, James Harden is overweight and on his 4th NBA team, compared to Steph, who was on the same team and winning his 4th championship. And listening to Perkins talk right there, as always, it was hard, but the one point he did make is saying James Harden, when he got to Houston, changed the culture and made them a winning team. Now think about Steph Curry for 1 second. That exact same point can be applied to him, but tenfold. As looking back to 2010 when Steph was drafted, the Warriors at that point had won 1 playoff series in the previous 18 years. And after Steph got healthy in 2014, that Golden State team had won 51 games, the most since 1992. And in 2015, they had their first 60-win season, and 2016, their first 70-win season. And before you know it, they had 4 championships in 8 years and were an NBA dynasty. Once again, I want to hammer this point home. Without Steph Curry, the Golden State dynasty does not exist. You can say he's a system player, he isn't clutch, not a top 3 point guard, but at the end of the day, let's make one thing clear. Without him, this dynasty never happens. So with that final point being made, that is the end of the video. As always, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time.